Hello everyone. I want to begin this video with a metaphor of what I'm going to be explaining. This is just a random stone. It has mass. In this time-space reality, because there is gravity, it has weight. But does it have energy? When it's still like this on my palm, it doesn't have any energy. But if it moves, suddenly it has energy. So any object can only have energy if it is in movement. This law of energy being given to an object in movement is not only true for physical objects, it's also true for metaphysical things. And today I'm going to be talking about this and explaining to you how you can have more energy by creating movement in the right direction in your life. And I'm going to be explaining why you don't have enough energy in your life, which also has to do with this simple metaphor. So from what I've noticed in life, nowadays it is very hard to see a person who is truly energized, enthusiastic, who has the strength, the power to go through everyday life and to complete everyday tasks at 100%. So in this video, I want to talk to you about how you can possibly help yourself with fixing that problem of chronic fatigue, which is very common in society nowadays amongst many people. It's almost a disease now that most people on planet Earth, although we have the necessary time and resources and the possibility to take time to rest, we still seem to be unable to recharge fully. Not many of us have enough energy to go through life, do everything at 100% of our power, of our possibilities, of our capability, and also do the things that we are passionate about and invest time in secondary things. So it's either or. It's either we put time and energy into something that we love and want to do, or we put energy into something that we must do and we feel completely drained from doing that, so we don't have enough energy for completing the things that we actually want to do ourselves. That's a problem in and on its own. So from my observations, there are three types of causes that you might be experiencing for that fatigue on a spiritual level. The three of those problems are typically intertwined. They go hand in hand, one with the other and with a third one. But sometimes one is prevalent, the other ones are secondary, and you might not even be conscious of those things. So what are those three main causes for fatigue on a spiritual level? The first one is when a person doesn't recharge energy completely. So when a person is never really full, it's as if a person were always a bit hungry even when they finish a meal. But transfer that to the spiritual, non-physical perspective. The second cause is what I call energy holes or aura holes. So that happens when in a person's aura there is some hole, some void through which the energy that enters the body exits. Basically, a person is unable to recharge and gain their own energy from source, from the universe and from the earth, because that energy is not able to be stored in the body and in the different bodies, you know, the ethereal body, the emotional body, etc, etc. And the third cause that you might be experiencing is losing too much energy. So although you get enough energy from the universe, from the earth, you spend a lot of it mindlessly, unconsciously, to things that you don't even notice, things that are mundane. So further on in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you all of those three kinds of energy loss in more detail, although this topic is very extensive and I wouldn't be able to explain every little detail of it in a video that is less than half an hour. So the first cause, not getting enough energy. That typically happens when a person is completely out of alignment with their higher self, with their soul, let's call it this way. So when a person is not living in accordance with their real desires, with their real personality, they're not being authentic, they can't get enough energy from source because they are not putting their energy, the energy that they do have, into the right cause, to the right direction. So this has very much to do with the metaphor that I've referred to in the very beginning of this video, because it's as if a person were a stone that isn't moving anywhere. It's basically stagnant. When a person is not moving anywhere, when there is no progression in the right direction for their higher self, for their true being, there is no purpose in life, there is no movement. Therefore, the universe is not going to give you the energy that you need to actually do the things that you want to do, to achieve the things that you want to achieve. So if you're not willing to move, if you're not willing to direct your energy anywhere, it's not going to come to you. In this case, how do we make energy come to us? First, you need to stop ignoring your desires, your intuition, and your needs. I would like to make a separate video about it, so let me know if you would like to see a video about listening to your inner voice, which in many cases, in many people, we've shut this inner voice of ours so much that we can barely hear it. And that is very damaging, because of course, if we don't even know what we truly desire, we're not completing the tasks that we should be completing in this lifetime. We're not going on the path that is ours. Instead, we're living a life that is a copy of someone else's life, as if this weren't your life. So you have to exit that. You have to live according to your real passions, your real desires. You need to ask yourself, what do you really want in life? You need to go through the phase of experiencing that fear of losing what you have in order to get liberated and start doing something that you actually care about and that you actually enjoy. Because only when you start moving in the right direction, only when you show the universe at least that you're willing to find the right path, the universe will see that and respond to that accordingly. It will give you more energy because it will see that you're using it for the right things, for the things that are destined to be yours. Then of course it would be very beneficial for you to connect more to nature, to the nature of your body, of your senses, of what your body feels and wants. And at the same time, you might want to connect more to nature in the literal sense that many people use when they talk about connecting with nature, which is, you know, just spending time in natural spots, going to parks, to forests, to mountains, to swim in the sea, whatever you can, whatever you're able to get at this point in life. And before we move on to the next point, just a quick reminder that those things that take your energy might also be the things that give you even more energy. What do I mean by that? In order to get more energy, you need to do things that you're passionate about, that you're interested in, that give you joy, but that also take your energy. So for example, when a painter is passionate about their job or their hobby, whatever it might be, and they're painting something, at times it is frustrating. It takes up a lot of time, a lot of effort, energy, creativity, brain power, but it is so rewarding energetically that when you go through that process of creating something, the energy that you spend comes back to you because the universe wants that progression to happen. It wants the expansion to happen, the developing of a skill that you really care about. So when you put your time and lots of energy and effort into something, when you put your 100% into something, this energy will come back to you through the process of doing it and afterwards when you finish something. So you should take that approach in everything you do. Don't be afraid of spending energy, although it might sound counterintuitive in this case, but the more you spend, the more will come to you and you will no longer feel so drained and fatigued. Now that I've said the most important things, moving on to the second point. Really, in one video I will not be able to explain the complexity and the density of the topic of aura holes, of energetical holes. Basically, a person might be fatigued and might be chronically tired when they have an energy blockage or an energy hole. There are literal energetical holes through which energy escapes, so it is not able to stay in the bodies of a person. Therefore, a person has to live off of other people's energy. And what happens in that case? A person becomes an energy vampire. Once you become aware of it, you can fix it. You can start healing it. You can become a person who has a healthy aura and therefore doesn't need the energy of other people to live off of that. But how do you discover if you're an energy vampire or not? There are several ways. Some of the easiest ones that I would suggest you try and do is first try to isolate yourself for more than one day, more than 24 hours. Do not talk to anyone, don't go out. Try to, if you're able to, try to spend as much time in solitude as possible in your current circumstances, and notice how you feel. If after 24 hours you already feel drained, you're panicking, maybe you're very tired, you're unable to do things, you're unable to concentrate on things, that might be an indication that you have an energetical hole or blockage somewhere in your body and you need to get energy from other people. The second thing that you might want to do is come up to people that you spend time with, be that your family members, your friends, your colleagues, whoever, and ask them to tell you about how they usually feel when they're speaking to you and after they speak to you or spend time with you. Ask them to be completely honest, because it is important for you, for your growth, for your healing. So assure them that you will not take their words as something negative, as something hurtful, because you need that. And even if you hear hurtful things there, it is better for you at this point, because this way you make that little step into the uncomfortable zone, into pain, into being hurt, in order to gain many more things, something much more valuable: your autonomy, your health, your energetical health and wholeness. So ask them to be completely honest with you. And if most of those people that you ask say that they feel drained after being with you, if they feel kind of tired, or if they feel like you're a bit oppressive, if you're a bit aggressive towards them, even if you don't notice that yourself, even if that's not your intention. So if they feel tired after spending time with you, and if they feel that like they need to recharge after being with you, that might also be an indication that you're an energy vampire and that you're living off of their energy, because you're literally taking their energy, you're sucking out their energy because you don't have energy of your own. If those things happen, how do you fix that? That should definitely be another video, because this topic is very complicated. But literally, out of all the ways possible that you can implement in your life, find a psychic, find a shaman in town, and go up to them and ask them to do some energetical cleanses for you, or to read your aura and tell you really whether you have any energetical holes. Because shamans and psychics and people who really know what they do, that really are good at what they do, basically if they have the right energy for it, and if they have the right intentions and the right vibration and the experience, those people will make your journey to healing much easier. Because if you try to do it all on your own, it might take you months or even years, while if you go up to a shaman, they might fix your problem in very little time, much less time at least, because they already know what they're dealing with. Now let's move on to the third cause, when you lose too much energy. So that happens when a person does have the capacity to store energy of their own. They do have enough energy, they do spend enough time doing the things they love, maybe they do have lots of passions and interests, but they still have no energy and they feel drained and they can't complete what they want to do. That means a person is losing too much energy unconsciously on things that they might not even be noticing, because they do them often, they do them as a habit every day or almost every day, and it has become something normalized in society to do things that really aren't beneficial for us. So in this case, the list of things that might be draining your energy, first of all, it's very long. Secondly, for each person, it's very individual. So my list might look very different from yours. But amongst some very common things that I notice amongst people, those might be things like Mindless usage of social media on a regular basis without any specific purpose, spending time in unpleasant environments, spending time with people that are clearly offensive, aggressive, or that are energy vampires. Procrastinating. Procrastination in this case is not the main problem. It's not the cause of why you're drained. The cause is actually the emotions that you feel that come with procrastination. So guilt, shame, worrying, sadness, desperation, resistance, those things drain the energy, not the act of postponing something itself. Unfinished tasks. When you don't finish a task, it literally hangs above your head as an unfinished business. So you need to rather finish it in the physical world or cut it from yourself on an energetical level by literally saying that I am now disconnecting from this task. I have now officially finished it, period. Other things that might be draining your energy. Small talk, being under pressure but not doing anything about it. Saying yes to things that you'd rather say no to, saying no to things that you'd rather say yes to, switching from one activity to another every 5 seconds without actually focusing on any of them, eating too much or too little, moving in ways that your body doesn't like, so doing sports that are not right for your body, because not all sports and not all amounts of physical activity are actually good for you, drinking alcohol, substance abuse, having sex impulsively with people that you don't even know or like or feel any strong connection with, watching zombifying television programs, negative and hateful self-talk, doing everything in energy save mode instead of putting your 100% into something. So the list is infinitely long, but so is the list of things that you might do to gain energy. So what you might want to do in this case, if you do those things and if you feel like you don't have energy, is not stop doing them altogether forever and never do them again and forget about them, because that's unrealistic and your motivation levels will probably drop immensely. Instead, what you might want to try is just quit some things one thing at a time, or just decrease the levels, the amounts of those things in your life. So for example, if you have to spend time with people that are toxic because they're family members or because they're at your job, and for now you can't leave that job or that family, minimize the amount of time you spend with those people. Try to talk to them less. Develop tactics to avoid negative talk with them, to preserve your energy, your dignity, your emotional sanity. If you can't quit drinking alcohol altogether, try not drinking every day, but drinking once a week or even more frequently if for now it's too difficult for you. If you can't stop overeating, try to just decrease a little bit the amount you eat each time. Or what would be even better and more realistic and more beneficial for you is to start noticing your emotions. Which emotions are the triggers for your overeating patterns? What do you feel when you're overeating? What are you trying to compensate, etc., etc.? So work on your emotions. What are you trying to substitute with that food? So do those little tiny changes towards gaining your energy back. Do not do everything at once and just change your life completely, because we all know that never works. Never. Don't try it. And as a final bonus point, I'm going to leave an exercise for you that you might want to do in order to notice what things drain your energy. So take a journal or just open the notes on your phone or your laptop, your computer, whatever, and during at least a week, or even better if it would be a month, write down in that journal all the things that you do and how you feel during the doing of them and afterwards. So for example, what you write and those subtle little descriptions of the key moments, of the key words, should look something like this. Woke up at 8 AM, felt tired, had a coffee, it was delicious, felt tired afterwards. 2 PM, went to lunch with insert name, we talked about insert topic, felt a bit annoyed or ashamed, felt the need to recharge afterwards. 5 PM, watched a home decorating video on YouTube, felt inspired, acted on that inspiration didn't overthink it, cleaned up my room, felt excited, motivated, energized. 8 p.m, cooked dinner with a new recipe, felt very energized, inspired, motivated and fulfilled. The dish was delicious, felt good afterwards. So this journaling, it shouldn't be anything super precise, it shouldn't be anything super difficult or detailed. Of course, if you have the time for it and if you do want to investigate yourself very deeply, you might want to add more details to what you write. You can also do this exercise in the evening instead of doing it after everything you do. So instead of doing it along the days passing, you might want to do it in the evening. But in my personal experience and from what I know and notice is that if we people leave something for some time after, we forget the immediate responses that we gave to a situation, and therefore our analysis then will not be as accurate. So the best thing that you might do is to journal in the moment when you complete something, in the moment when you finish doing something, when something happens, and put as much detail as you can in the moment, and put the key things that you felt, the things that you experienced internally, not only the thoughts, but the literal feelings in your body, in your emotional body. So once you have journaled like this for a week or more, you sit down, reread all of that and mark all the repeated patterns that you notice. So for example, you might notice that it's always after you see one certain person that you feel particularly bad and drained. Or likewise, you might notice that after meeting with some other person, you always feel particularly energized, inspired, comforted, cozy, maybe loved. So this way you might actually find out with whom spend more of your time and with whom to spend less of your time. Or you might find out repeated patterns in the things that inspire you, which might bring you closer to finding out the things that you're passionate about in life and that really make you want to move in the right directions. So for example, if you notice a pattern that you always feel inspired when you see beautiful interiors on Pinterest, on YouTube, videos about decorating, maybe if you always feel very inspired when you are doing something around your house, redecorating it, cleaning it, changing things up, drawing, we see a pattern there, don't we? So your passion might actually be interior design. Or the same thing happens with any other thing. If you always feel inspired and excited when you cook, maybe you should dedicate more of your time and effort to cooking. Maybe it's even your life purpose to cook delicious, healing food that will charge people with positivity and amazingness and nutrients and everything else. So notice those patterns, analyze those, and surely you will be able to extract something from those. So with this, I'm going to finish this video. I hope it has been helpful. I hope you will actually apply the things that I've talked about in this video in your life, and I really hope that you will stay on this channel, that you have liked this video. Please leave a comment saying what you would like me to talk about in my next videos. Subscribe to this channel, and I hope to see you very soon. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.